The Oklahoma City Thunder are projected to be one of the best teams in the NBA next season, if not the best. And a lot of people are assuming that this is just because of the Isaiah Hartenstein signing and trading for Alex Caruso, just doing a straight-up player swap, which we've talked about before. Very rare to see in the NBA nowadays. Very rare just to see a player swap. Usually there's picks involved or there's multiple players. But it's just Giddey for Caruso straight up, which is a great addition to the team. It's helped project our total wins from how much we had last year at 57 to hopefully plus 13 more wins to 70. All right. Right now, the Thunder are projected to have 70 wins if you're just taking in who we've added and who we've lost, which is great. However, we wouldn't be at that projected amount right now if we didn't keep some two key role players for us that come off the bench. Sometimes they end up starting for us because of injuries, resting some guys, and they do play well, right? They do play well when they're starters, but they really excel at coming off the bench because there are a lot of players that can match up with them in, the rotation, with how deep some teams are. They're just better bench players overall than some other guys. We're talking about Aaron Wiggins, Isaiah Joe, some of the two most underrated signings that people aren't really talking about as much. People are saying like, oh, why are we talking about, two bench players signing for the Thunder? Why is that so important? Well, A, it's because of how much the deals are worth, and then B, how much potential these guys have because they're both still really young. Isaiah Joe was picked up by the Thunder after he was cut by the 76ers. And Aaron Wiggins, he was taken with the 55th overall pick in the 2021 draft. Right? He was a second rounder, very late second rounder. And the progression these guys have shown is insane, adding some good depth to our team, also filling in a starting role sometimes. And people just aren't talking about it as much. I found an article that does talk about it. And so we're going to break it down kind of, I give you an in-depth analysis. You guys know how I like to do this. All right, give you my thoughts on what the article's saying and my whole thoughts on the signings because these are two moves that can help us win for years, okay? Because there's no guarantee we can keep Caruso. There's no guarantee we can also re-sign Hartenstein after his deal is up. So it's definitely something to look at that can help us win for years to come, all right? The first piece of information here, okay? First piece of information I got here. An underrated set of moves Presti made was returning both Isaiah Joe and Aaron Wiggins, paying them and extending their contracts on what will end up being a bargain. And the bargain he's talking about, the contract is Aaron Wiggins, it is 5 years, $47 million. So he's making around $9.5 million per year, which is great value for Wiggins, all right? Considering he has saved basketball multiple times before. Isaiah Joe is a 4-year, $40 million contract, right? 40 or 48, one of the two. It's either 10 to 12 million per year, something like that. I can't remember the exact number. Once again, an absolute bargain for one of the best three-point shooters in the league when you look at percentage-wise, all right? Shooting 41% from behind the arc. And Aaron Wiggins shot 49% from behind the arc. Now, he doesn't take as many three balls as Isaiah Joe, but very efficient scorers off the bench, and Aaron Wiggins, a guy that does everything well, does it at a very good rate, and then Isaiah Joe, who shoots the three ball well. But more rest of this article here right now. Presti made small tweaks in adding Caruso and Hartenstein to a 57-win team, moves that won't disrupt the team's current core. He's also been drafting well for years, which has helped build the current Big Three. Next thing is for Presti practice continuity. Very hard word for me to pronounce, guys. Sorry, Southern education. Giving the core rotation time to put things together and play for a shot at the NBA Finals. This is written by Cade Kimball on Inside the Thunder on Sports Illustrated. Go check him out there. And so what he's just kind of saying is what I kind of brought up at the beginning of this video. Very underrated moves that people aren't necessarily talking all that much about. It's one of those moves where it's like, they're bench players. Why do we care? Well, the reason you should care is because they're really good guys that could end up being starters in the future for other teams, and they will build up more value, and we have them for bargain deals before they even hit their prime right now. They're both coming off great years. Isaiah Joe came off an 8-point year. Aaron Wiggins, 6 points off the bench. Guys that really improved and can keep on improving. Aaron Wiggins, still very young. Isaiah Joe, still very young. We have a young team, and locking them down for a few years on very friendly contracts will help us re-sign Dub and Chet once they can be extended. You can get, max rookie deals because both of them will be worth that, in my opinion, especially Chet. Dub, I could see him, maybe $5 million below the max per year, but I could see us offering him the max as well. And so they're very team-friendly options for us to kind of, go after with Isaiah Joe and Aaron Wiggins because that is about what they're worth right now. But in 5 years, one of our best players coming, probably our best guy coming off the bench first off, and one of our better players on the team making $9 million when the salary cap is going to keep on rising and average salaries are going to rise insane. Like, that's just insane to think about, okay? That he'll be making $9 million, Isaiah Joe $12 million. Guys will probably be worth anywhere from $15 to $20 million once they do hit their prime, once these contracts are up. It's just crazy to think about. These guys could be worth that in 2 years potentially. All right, so that's why it is an underrated move. We've got them locked down long-term for very friendly deals on the team. Now, I'll go to the next piece of this article here. This is what it has to say. Wiggins has signed to a 5-year, $47 million contract with Joe inking a 4-year, $49 million contract. Both players are key members off the bench and perfectly encapsulate what it means to be a Thunder player. I used this as an example of some people the other day. Our coaches for Summer League the other day about remaining open, Presti said. Remaining non-judgmental, having a beginner's mindset when we're looking at younger players in Summer League. So, Presti, it's hard to break down what Presti actually means, all right? It does. I'm going to read this again. I use this as an example with some people the other day. Our coaches for Summer League the other day about remaining open, remaining non-judgmental, having a beginner's mindset when we're looking at younger players in Summer League. Presti is known as, he's known to be a guy that drafts people first over players, all right? Yes, he knows you're a good basketball player to make it this far, all right? He wants to know what kind of person you are as well, because that can, help you out with the media and in case you ever get in trouble and stay out, because Oklahoma City is relatively known to be an organization that isn't really ever in the bad spotlight of the media, all right? We're always a key, example of what an organization should look like. Multiple, teams have started building off this as well with how we treat our staff, players, and other people in the organization. Secondly, this is also talking about how just the culture we've built, okay? That's just kind of what it's talking about, how we're not going to judge, all right? We're going to give you the chance to succeed. And that's what we've done with a ton of players on our team. Aaron Wiggins, drafted, in the second round, 55th overall. He's been given the chance to succeed because he's seized every single opportunity he has been given. Same with Isaiah Joe. Cut by the Sixers, picked up by the Thunder after he was cut, and now he's one of our key players coming off the bench, and probably our best three-point shooter too, in my opinion. All right? So he's just talking about how you have to keep an open mind and that these guys can take, if they prove to us that they can take this opportunity, all right, if they're good people, that usually means that they can project, progress and be better players as well because they keep their nose in the dirt, and actually work hard to get better and be an impact player on this team. That's what he's looking at. That's kind of what that quote is telling me, and this is the exact same thing. The reason that Aaron Wiggins and Isaiah Joe have these big long-term contracts now with the Thunder. Now, last piece of information that we have here. Okay, this is what it has to say. Both Wiggins and Joe held little expectations given how they entered the league. So like I was just saying earlier about how Presti's given them opportunity. Now both players have long-term job security on hefty contracts, which gives them life-changing money. The 4 players involved in Thunder transaction this offseason fit the bill as players who started their careers in ways that make the grind a bit tougher. This goes to the point of the team bringing in people first and players second. Each of these guys has been able to build character given their past and how they've had to work their way into their current role. So that's just pretty much talking about the same thing that I just mentioned there, how Presti is always interested in the person first and not the player, all right? He's interested in the mentality and mindset that you bring to the organization and if you fit into what they're trying to build. And Isaiah Joe and Aaron Wiggins fit that perfectly, all right? They're guys who weren't really given the chance. A lot of people wrote them off, all right? They were like, they won't ever really be much in league. Isaiah Joe cut early. Aaron Wiggins, very late second-round pick. So it's one of those things where it's like they look at it and it's like, those guys will never amount to something. 2 years later, they signed these long-term deals, all right? Very good money as well, but team-friendly money, all right? Quite frankly, a steal. When you look at it 2 years down the line, people are going to be like, why is Aaron Wiggins only making $9 million a year, and why is Joe only making $12 million a year? That's where they're going to look down the line and see him like, man, that's insane that they're able to keep him on that kind of money. It's the same with Caruso, all right? He started off with the Oklahoma City Blues and then went to the Lakers, was never really a starter, then became a starter in Chicago and had his career really take off. Isaiah Hartenstein, G League Finals MVP at one point, started his career off there. Never really been a starter, always been a bench player, a bench big, not really a big name. Then last season, he really blew off with the Knicks and, blew up with the Knicks. And then all of a sudden, boom, he's a big name guy. Everyone's targeting that OKC went after. It kind of shows the character that every single player on OKC is about. Jalen Williams, J-Dub. You know, at first when he was drafted, people were like, that's really a reach at 12 with Jalen Williams, with J-Dub. But yet he's worked his way into being, what was probably the second option for us last season, especially his rookie year as well, and has, been great so far in his first 2 years and should take a huge leap going into his third season, maybe even average 20 points per game. Jay Will as well. One of those guys who's like, he doesn't really bring anything, to the league. Sure, he has good IQ. He's really capitalized off that and becomes one of the, our backbone for defense with our second string unit, along with Cason Wallace. That's what our team's kind of built off of, guys that haven't really been given the opportunity. Lou Dort's a perfect example of that. Undrafted, signed with the Thunder, and he proved his worth in the bubble when he had an insane playoff run and showed, I belong there. So Presti's going to give these guys opportunity because they have the mindset to make it in the league, and they have the mindset that the Thunder organization is trying to build off of, and this is exactly what Wiggins and Joe did. It's exactly what they did, and it's probably one of the most underrated moves in the entirety of NBA free agency, because these are names that you're going to be looking out for in 2 years and be like, man, how did we let them keep them? How did we let them keep them to that little money as well? So that's all I had to say about this video. Let me know what you guys think personally about the two contracts and if this move really is that game-changing for the Thunder. Let me know down in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.